Hey, welcome. I'm Lon Schiffbauer, and today I'm going to show you how to use a green screen in Premiere Pro. In other words, how to key out all the green and replace it with something awesome. So with that, let's go ahead and jump right in. Now, just so you know, all the instructions that I'm going to give throughout this little presentation, they're actually listed out in the description below. So if you want, you can go ahead and take a look at that, print it out, write some notes as we go along, and have that available for you. So let's go ahead and take a look at this clip that I have here. It's from a video that I shot earlier in the day. It's meant to be rough and ready. You'll notice here there's a lot of shadow, there's a lot of folds, there's a lot of wrinkles. Frankly, the better you set up your green screen, the better you light it, and the flatter the color is, the easier this whole process will be. However, if you knew how to do all this perfectly, then you wouldn't need me, because I don't know how to do it all perfectly. I just kind of throw this together and hope for the best. So that's what we're going to do here. Let's go ahead and see how we can take even a pretty lousy piece of footage and yet, at the end of the day, make it not half bad. Now, the first thing we're going to do is come over to our effects panel, and under opacity, you see this little pen tool here. You'll want to select that pen tool. Then what you can do is you can select the area that you really want to focus on. All this stuff on the corners and so forth, I don't need that. That's not going to be included in this. I'm going to want to mask it out. So I might as well just focus in on the section that I need. Now, you'll notice what you can then do is once you're done, you can drag these little nodes here, I think they're called, and really fine-tune this. In fact, what you'll want to do is kind of play through the clip a little bit and make sure that you're not, masking out a section that you in fact need. So you see here, for example, I need to change this so that my hand can come up all the way and still be visible. Okay, now the next thing we want to do is we want to find the Ultra key effect. And I apologize, I should have had the effects menu up already, but if it's not for you, you just go ahead and click on effects up here. Come over to the search, and as you see, I have Ultra typed in there, and that allows me to find the Ultra key effect. What I'm going to do is take that effect and just drag it over to my clip. That will give me all of the options available over here in my effects panel. Now, the first thing I'll want to do with my Ultra key effect is I want to take this color picker tool right here, and I want to select the green. What I'm basically doing is chroma keying out all of the green. So I'm telling the program, hey, if it's green, I don't want to see it. So that's what we're going to do here. Now you notice, yes, the green is all gone, but it's pretty messy. It's not looking really awesome. Now, had we done a nice, clean, well-lit, flat green screen, this would be pretty much all we need to do, but we're going to go ahead and clean it up a little bit. Now, the first thing we're going to do to clean it up is come over here to Output and change this setting from Composite to Alpha Channel. What this does is it shows us everything that's being keyed out. If it's white, good solid white, then it's visible. If it's black, then it's invisible. Pretty simple. However, you see there's all kinds of white fuzz around and so forth. These are artifacts that would be visible in our final product, and we don't want that. So we're going to clean this up. Now, to clean it up, we are going to open up matte generation here, and we're going to mess with a few settings. First of all, we have transparency. You want to put transparency as high as you can without biting into the mask. Now, biting into the mask means, hey, we start to see black show up where we don't want black to show up. We want everything in our subject to be absolute clean white and everything outside of our subject to be absolute clean black. so we set our transparency as high as we can. Then we turn to shadow. This we want to set as low as we can without biting into our subject. Now, as we do this, we'll want to play through the clip a little bit to make sure that the settings are consistent through all the frames. And then we have pedestal. This one we want to set fairly high just so it looks good, but not too high because otherwise that will really affect our final output. So just set it a little high so that we can clean things up a bit. And at the end of the day, I think that looks good enough. Good enough for what we're trying to do today. Now, the next thing we want to do is go back to composite. So we come up here to output, change the output from alpha channel back to composite. And lo and behold, there we are. We got our subject nice and clean with a black background. Black meaning it's masked out and anything we put behind us will be totally visible. Now, we still have a little work to do. We want to remove the line that is around the subject. As we do this process, there's kind of this line that outlines the subject, and we want to clean that up. So to do that, we are going to go over to Matte Cleanup, and we are going to look at Choke and Soften. Now, choke will reduce the line, but you don't want to do it too much because then you actually bite into the subject. You can see here that, yes, it's removing the line around my glasses, but if I do it too much, then my glasses frame will disappear. So we want to tweak that just a little bit. Now, in my case, I don't have hair, so there's nothing really for me to worry about. But if you're filming a subject with hair, then you might want to soften the subject a little bit. So you come here to soften, bring it down just a little bit so that, the hair doesn't look like it's needles sticking up in the air. Now, you don't want to do soften too much. You want it pretty crisp, but that's something you can do to help the hair look a little more natural. Now, the last step is we want to deal with a little bit of this spill. And what I mean by that is the light from the green screen is reflecting onto me, onto the subject. And so we want to get rid of that green cast that's coming over me. Now, there's only so much we can do. Frankly, I was standing too close to the screen. And so the closer you are to the screen, the more cast you're going to get. So just something to bear in mind when you're shooting. But what we can do here is I can come here to Spill Suppression, and then we're going to look at Desaturate. What we want to do is desaturate the subject as much as we can to get rid of some of the green, but not so much that we lose all the color. You see here that if I desaturate too much, I turn pretty desaturated. Well, I'm going to dial that back up just a bit so that I have color, but the green is more or less taken care of. And then there we are. So let's take a look at how this looks with something in the background. What I'm going to do is raise this clip up in my, layers, and we can go ahead and put a photograph behind it, and let's see how that looks. Bam, there you go. All of a sudden I'm in Venice. Now, yeah, it's all wrong. Venice was shot on a lousy camera 15 years ago. It's all blue because it was a cloudy day, all that good stuff. Furthermore, it's a good practice to take whatever green screen image you have in the background and kind of blur it just a little bit so that you have the artificial depth of field going on. There's actually quite a bit we can do here in terms of color and sharpness to make me blend into this a little bit more. So if you wanted to play with that, you could, and maybe we'll explore that in a future video. But for the most part, bam, there you are. That's how you go ahead and chroma key a subject. All right, so there you go. I hope you found this helpful. Now go off and do something awesome with this. All right, we'll see you later.